And we're live once again. Another Sunday. Come on in. And don't know what we're going to talk about. We kind of covered everything. Kind of that retro project I've decided to move along. Been testing the ARs. Fool around with the Super Safe. And decided that was treading on. The problem is finding a place to let your gun rip in simulated full auto and not have the law show up to ask questions. So, I forgot, left the hand on. Okay, well, we ain't gonna move it, touch it. So, basically things like that. And another Sunday, see who shows up. I know a lot of the guys, oh God, sinuses. A lot of people show up. It's something to do on a Sunday. Got all my regulars, and we'll see what discussion pops up this time around or who's got something going on. But yeah, after I did a poll on, let's see, I did a poll, which I usually don't do these things, on thinking about doing a retro build. And I got 148 votes. 69% said yes, 5% said no, 9% said I don't care, and then that last choice, hey man, fantastic idea, go for it, 17%. So very close to 80 some odd percent of the people said, hey man, go for it, let's see it. So it's something, it's content that's interesting. And going through my analytics, somebody did send a comment, hey, go with the mill surplus stuff. And I mixed that in. I picked up a Star Model B, one of the ones I've been looking for. I always wanted one of the early ones from World War II. Okay, and they're getting harder to find. A bunch of them come in a few years back, and whenever they went up, one guy must have had like 5 or 6 of them. He put them on a gun broker auctions, and I mean they all went for well over $4 bills. Okay, and that was getting to where I really, it was one of these things that was three C notes or something. Okay, and all right, let's go here. All right, good morning, and going pretty good. So I kind of put it off, and but they sold out, and the early ones got the wooden grips and everything, and they got the little scroll that says P08 to designate that it's a 9, not a 9mm Largo. So years went by, I didn't think about it, and then I'm fooling around one of these auctions, and I think maybe that's what we should talk about is mill surplus prices and how the economy sucks. And well, anyway, so I'm fooling around, and you do these pre-bids, and you see a lot of stuff come up. I mean, there's some nice. I wanted to get a few more Argentine Mausers, like a 09 and that. I think I might have had one time. I don't know. I can't remember. I had so many different guns. So I seen a Star B, like I wanted, wooden grips, a little mark on a barrel. I said, hey man, put a bid. And I put some ridiculously low bid on there. And come to find out, I forgot about it because I don't go to the lives no more. Sometimes if I'm bored or I'm in the house, which when the weather's getting bad, I'll sit and watch the live auction. But if I save them, or when they start real early and I put like a $15, $20 bid on and then save it, when the auction closes, I could go back to the site and see what the thing sold for. So that's how I kind of get an idea of what is going on. But you have to be careful because that bid I put in there was low. But by the time I paid some of these auction houses, it's 24 or even 28% on top of your bid. Okay. Because the auction house takes a percentage, and then the website you're using that you could go to the live auction and bid, they take a percentage. And then there's sales tax and shipping and handling. So even though the hammer fell on this gun really low, okay, I ended up paying, it was like 120 units to get the thing, and then my dealer fee. So it was about, what it did is it went up, it was under two bills, 20 under two, 180. Okay. Well, then when it was all said and done, shipping and this and that to get it to me, added another C note to it. Then I had the one guy that I used to do the transfers. He charges 2.5. Okay. But, he'll do legal transfers. A lot of people don't like sending it to the auction house, this and that. But all I do is call this fellow on the phone. He shoots him his FFL and then does a transfer for me. So I use one guy for all my auction and odd things. And, somebody wants to sell me something on Gun Broker and it's a private person, he'll do them. Some people won't, but he does. And it's all legal. There's nothing shady about it. It's just some dealers just don't like to be bothered. Yeah, I know, because I've heard if you go to the big box store and ask them to do one, they tell you they don't. Okay, number one. So going there, you have to go to either a smaller shop, or like this guy, some of these guys, they're retired, they work out of their home or their basement. That's their mainstay. This guy I use, he used to go to the gun shows. He used to have an inventory of stuff and all this other things, but he's getting there close to 80, and he don't go anymore. Physically he can't handle it. So what he does is he's known in the area for a guy to go to, and he makes his mainstay by doing the transfers. That's basically all he does. Yeah, see, some places are tough. Okay, I walked in a gun shop years ago, and I asked the guy for a certain pistol, Makarov. He just gets Shotgun News, went, looked at it, said, whatever this is, tack on 50 and I'll get it. I'll order it now. He goes, pay me and I'll order one right now. Yeah, some people, in some states, like you're saying, 80, 40 or whatever, around here, 20, 25 is a going rate, because there's a lot of people do it, and we're kind of in a gun friendly state. So a lot of this business goes on. I know, I guess in New York, I was on the phone with a friend of mine because of the big controversy of the mayor up there in New York City, which, even though we're not from New York City, it does affect the whole state. Okay. And he told me they got it now to where if you go in to buy a box of 22 shells at Walmart or a sporting goods store, if there's any still left, if you go in to buy a box of ammo, they run a background check on you, just like if you were buying a gun. Okay. They run a background check on you. If it passes, you pay them, and then you got to wait 24 hours. You got to come back the next day to get the ammo. They won't let you walk out of the store with it that day. Okay. Yeah, worse and more expensive. That's true. That's like I said, New York is it's terrible. How's it going? So, really it's crazy. And I don't know. But of course, the rumor is when I was talking to this guy when I got this auction find, uh, he's good friends with a local shop that it's more it's they are a full service gunsmith. They got those guys do all. They're one of the few places that has like 4 or 5 gunsmiths in there, the lathes and all the machinery. But he does have a little counter and he does sell a few guns. That's not his mainstay. It's repair and custom work. So he said he stopped by and was talking to him because I think he has something on commission in the shop that he's trying to sell. And the guy said, "There's no gun sale. Nobody's buying firearms, ammo, nothing." And it's kind of like it's run in the evening because all these guys have a day job, so they open like at 4 till 9 or something like that, and then maybe the weekends, Saturday, they're open all day. Um, he said the only money we got coming into the store is gunsmithing work. Okay, like I said, they're one of the few that's close by that have a full service shop. You know, he said we're not selling nothing, sales around, but he doesn't. You got the FFL, you got the store, you got a counter, and whenever you went in there, he does not have a lot of things for sale, and they're mostly used, and he might have a few new things in there, or he'll get you something popular guns, like he'd get a few of the newer ones, get them in, sell, but it's not a big retail deal. But something small like him, he ain't selling nothing. Okay. I don't know. There's several smaller shops around, and I haven't been to a big box store. I went to Academy Sports. I went to Academy Sports to pick up a box of ammo, and they got a full counter and the hunting guns and everything else. But you see some people in there looking at guns, but not like it used to be. So things are terribly slow now. The economy's bad. We don't have people coming out to the veterans post, to any of the functions and that, because people are just short on money. Some of the old retired people, if they're serving food, they always like to come down and eat. But a lot of the business was younger people would come in and go to the club room and spend some money there, and you're not seeing that. you know. And well, like I said, now they had their kitchen modernized. They're running some kind of meals. We got the facility for it. You might as well. I mean, and they're having some kind of meal special on the weekends that you can call in and pick it up out front, or come and dine in the giant meeting hall we got. Fits about 150 people in the damn place. But you see a lot of this isn't going well. And again, Toys for Tots. I remember one year I felt bad. I went down and bought a couple toys at the store because the guy usually, the one place that ran it, another club, he would have the stage where the bandstand, or the stage where the musicians are. He'd have that thing when they were coming to pick the toys up. He'd have that whole thing pile up with toys numerous years in a row. Now I remember when the economy after the plague, the economy was bad then. It's worse now. There really wasn't much there, and it's kind of sad that the people hung out there in the community used to donate a lot for these charity organizations, and now you don't see that no more. So yeah, it's bad all the way around. I mean, last week we were discussing, I was looking into the retros instead of all this budget this and sales stuff and all this other stuff. Maybe get something a little more, pricey and maybe get some more interest. But it didn't spark the interest in most of my regulars here on the chat, because one guy told me, he goes, if I want something new, I gotta get rid of something, liquidate something I have to get a cash flow in to do it. So yeah. Yeah, I know that's what the New York City mayor, all his advisors and whatever, is a whole staff of female people who think clearly and know a lot about crime and all this other wonderful crap. And everybody blames Trump for, stopping the food stamps, stopping this, stopping that. And what it is some people do tell you the truth about what's all behind this shutdown and everything. It's all about skimming money for wealthy people and the politicians. They got it set up to where they make money from this. It's like during the plague, all these schemes to help businesses actually didn't help small businesses in anyone's area. There were a lot of places, mostly restaurants and that, and eateries. A lot of these places downtown and all over, some places have been a family business run for years, all closed. Little bakeries and shops like that, gone. Okay. And they showed how the scheme works, where this aid money goes to some sort of corporation that these people are heavily invested in with blue chip stocks that pay dividend, and kind of that's where it all goes. The average guy running a small business with 5 people in it, now. Why? What did you say? Or did they have the thought police? You were thinking of saying something. Uh, they blocked you. Yeah, how many do you have? Yeah, 616, 5646. That's pretty wild. I don't know. They haven't nailed me, but there was one guy. I forget who he was. I think we discussed this last week. He made several comments about some of these mass shootings and the people who perpetrated them, and he used a certain terminology that somebody reported him for cyberbullying. And I don't know if they shut his channel down, but he got 2 strikes. That's what they do. They did that crap to me. I got a strike for talking about the plague, and then they come back on a 2.5 year video, gave me another strike, shut me down for, I think it was 90 days or something. But yeah, he got it for bullying and that, which, that's another screwed up thing. I mean, all you guys are here and you keep showing up because we all talk about the same stuff and we all kind of have the same opinion. And then for somebody that doesn't like our opinion to say that we're bullying them or frightening them or something, and they use that as a way of clipping you, or when we just want to talk about prices of things that we're interested in. If we were talking about cars or boats, we can sit here and say whatever the hell we want, but because it's guns. And another thing, the big Glock story, which is kind of weird. Glock's still making guns. They just stopped all their old models. Now we got several guys coming out. I guess Ruger came out with some sort of handgun that is very much like a Glock. I mean, I know, what the hell was it? The Grizzly there from that company here, Bear Creek Arsenal. it looks like Bear Creek Arsenal had the people that were making polymer 80 frames, they kind of changed the grip angle or something. And then whoever ended up with polymer 80 made them frames, probably on the same machinery, which they take and then, put numbers on it, make a gun. And all it is a damn clone of a Glock pistol. Okay. And Bear Creek Arsenal has some uh, or had some quality issues that's close by. I knew a guy that was going to go uh, and work there, and he told me, "Hey, Mr. Big Country, huh? I, I, I don't know what to tell you." Okay, but yeah, and I got one of them, and it was weird. All of them are priced the same. Okay, no matter what variations you get. And again, somebody I know locally here knows a guy that works on it. Said, yeah, they just make them all. They come different colors. Some have stainless barrels and something, a little bit different. Some have the slides ported and cut so you can see the colorful barrel inside there. He said, yep, all of them got the same price. So it's pretty weird. And actually, they're quite reasonable. Okay, they're not expensive. Even Ruger, for a Ruger product to be priced the way this is, uh, you know, 19th Amendment. Yeah, that's a good one. So, yeah, I mean, now they're saying because basically this uh, gun that Ruger made, and I've seen it, and I've seen it on sale, so the price is dropping on this. Um, they're saying it's going to fall under the same thing. Some organization, safety of the universe type thing, is saying that we got Glock. Now let's go. Ruger's making identical thing and this and that. So I have no idea where the hell this is going. It's more backdoor gun control. But what it comes down to, it's like the reloading components. Okay, somebody did ask me a thing. Why did gunpowder go up so fast? It's really not compared to inflation. Okay, and everyone gives you a million reasons why. Okay, and basically maybe they're making more, but here, like I've always told you, um, the number one buyer of the product that these chemical companies are making is the US government or law enforcement, state, local. They're the ones that buy a majority of the ammo. And not to be like a conspiracy nut. Well, this department ordered 35 million rounds of ammo. Well, maybe that's their allotment for the year. I mean, that's what you got to realize. You know, what does the U.S. Army order every year in ammo for just to function? Okay, it's millions and millions of rounds. That's why if you got a business set up that's got a steady contract, that's cool. And if your number one contract person applies a little bit of pressure on you to either stop making a product or to make it difficult to get, that's what I think the main reason is. Because this nonsense of these conflicts. It's like 155 millimeter howitzer shells. There was a big shortage there. They had to go get people like me out of retirement up in Pennsylvania to cast the casings and that. And the amount of production is can't keep up. And the Europeans expended all their munitions, and the hell is the difference? They ain't using it. Might as well use it up Well, you can, but now that everyone's broke, they can't replace this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. So anybody out there clip any decent deals the past week? Like I said, I got the uh, one thing. Yeah, it ain't gonna end. Number one. Let me look. Did I put a short out on? Yeah, I did. I put a short out on my Model B. So if you check my shorts, you can see it. It's only a minute and a half long. You guys can. But I got that Model B. That was about it. And I get, people asking, me, well, how do you find all these deals? I get about 100 emails in a 24-hour period into my one uh, email address that covers all the major places. And I guess one guy, he's on YouTube. He does a lot of reviews. He sends a daily alert at all these deals that he finds. Okay, and some of that stuff is cool too. I forget what is that. Let me get the name of that so you fellas know. Mr. Guns and Gear. That's what it is. Mr. Guns and Gear. I signed up for something. I don't even remember doing it. Prices on what? Gas, oil, guns? I don't think it's going to affect it much. All right, elk steaks defrosting. So we know what you're going to be having later on today. But I'm waiting for another week or two. What is it going to be? It's going to be one. Yeah. Not this weekend, the Black Friday, the 21st. I'm waiting for that to see what happens. They already, a couple items I got that side by side from Brazil, the little side by side coach gun with a plastic stock. That was under $3, and it just about at that now. I got that on the Black Friday sale at Sportsman's Warehouse. And that's another thing. We went in there, some guy was buying, there was only 3 of them in stock. And he had this weird thing, you had to wait in a long line, and you went and picked a little ticket out of a pouch. And when the little tickets were gone, it means that that's out of stock. And I don't know if you had to order it or something, some crazy crap. But I went over there. This guy, he kind of like come up from behind me and took one. And I'm looking as well. So I grabbed it. And they said they only had 3 in the building. But I got it. And actually, for home defense with the short shells, you don't want to shoot through your place in a neighbor's house. That's a pretty good home defense gun. It ain't the finest weapon on the planet, but and then that 22 I bought that one online. Had to wait a couple weeks, and then it come in, and I finally got one of them hokey dot scopes that I bought. That I looked at it and the way the mount is, and then I said, I put this on an AR, man, it's going to shake it to pieces. So I got it on there. I was going to take it out and shoot it, but the weather got kind of nasty. I was tired. I got to take that out, sight it in, because the little polymer sights on it, I tried adjusting them, and it still ain't on. So that one's another one. That was out of place in the Philippines. Made that little 22. I think I had the box over in the corner there. Rock Island. Yeah. I think that's it in the corner. Rock Island box. But Yeah, so with all the sales and the prices crashing, I wonder what they're going to do for Black Friday. I don't think they can get any lower. Ammunition, though, ammunition's not dropping. It hit a point like you're looking, if you can get some steel case 9 for about 2 bills, a little over, that's about where it is. I have not seen it go further. And you're looking at close for 5.56, um, you know, half a buck, you know, a round. So not seeing ammo get Ruger PC under 5. Yeah, okay. Pistol carbine. All right. That ain't bad. They make a nice one. But yeah, I guess, and what's going to happen, what people don't realize is if nobody buys these things, I guess the FN SCAR scars or whatever they call it, rifle, um, they stopped production of that. Colt has stopped production of all civilian models. They didn't discontinue them; they're just not producing them because they're not selling. Anything Colt sells is double or whatever anybody else wants anyway. But I mean, that's just the way it goes. Rock Island, yeah, it's probably made in Turkey. I'm not quite sure what that one is. Oh, let's take a look and get a refresher. VR80. Oh, that's one of the AR styles. Whoa, that is not a budget one. At least at Sportsman's Warehouse. Let's see what PSA has it for. 5.5, about a little more. I don't know if you're putting out that for it, that thing should work. I mean, the ones I got, they were about 2 bills. Okay. Oh, okay. That's right. You're in Jersey, so you gotta have the thumb hole stock. But yeah, them guns I got, none of them cost more than 2.5. I mean, that's why I bought them. Some of them work. That one bullpup is nothing but a pain in the ass. That got liquidated after I got it running right and found somebody to wanted it more than me. And but I do have some interesting stuff. You guys should stay tuned. I'm running the budget rifles, the 3 that I have for accuracy. You got 2 1 and 7 inch twist barrels, and the Anderson's a 1 and 1/8. An 1 and 8 inch twist. Going to run 55s. I just did the testing, but I had one of the sights go bad. I got to retest one of them. And then we're going to run 62 and maybe a few a little bit heavier. And then that way. And the key to all of this, okay, everyone doesn't like these budget ARs. You need some sort of sight on there because they're all flat tops. They got no sights on them. And the dots, the T dot is not. And I found this one cheap scope, just a clear scope with crosshairs, and I'll go with that, see how it goes. And they all got quick disconnects. You put it on there, a couple rounds sighted in at 15, and let her go, and it makes a difference. Okay, because even on the rest with them dot I don't know, it's just me. I never really liked dot optics, or even with the crosshairs or circle with the dot and that. Crosshairs on the scope or iron sights, once I get used to it and remember to get the same sight picture, works for me. Well, we're going to test them too. It was 160 rounds of ammo expended in one test, and then same amount again in the next test for the heavier bullets. And then that way, you can say, well, is it worth it? Is it not? All right, so not a lot of gun buying, so I'm working on that. Going to start retro series. I decided, like I said, I took my poll, and I wanted to go, and I'm going to probably have to. The reason I started with this one first is I don't have 1.5K just lying around to get one of the ones that's complete. But I wanted to do 601 with the green stock, and I'm going to have to kind of put most of that together, just accumulating parts. So this is one of these slow progressive things. Get a couple parts here, go through all the spare bits and pieces and springs and stuff I have, and just buy what I need to complete it, which will kind of keep the cost down. But any of these retro guns are, especially the ones through PSA by H and Harrington Richardson, they're pretty much true to what they should be. There's a couple companies and the guys reviewing these other guns that they got M4 feed ramps and 1 in 7 twist barrels on all of their retros. So, if, you don't want to worry about getting different ammo in that, and you like running 62s and you like a 1 in 7 twist, especially if you're running the heavier stuff, it's okay. I mean, they look just like they should. It's just, I'm going to go with a 1 in 12s and just run the 55 grain bullets in them. But yeah, it's 601 I want. That's the one that Curtis LeMay was at a party and got half liquored up, and a representative was there and was letting him shoot watermelons, and then he put in a order for 8,000 of them or something weird like that, 800 of them, and wanted them tested. So that's the one I want to start with, and the experimental one, the M16 EX1 or whatever. Those are the ones, the real early ones. I've had my fill of the M16 A1s, A2s, and all that other stuff. Nah, go with the old ones with all their deficiencies and faults with them. But take them out, try them against my Setmiel. I'll shoot that a little more if I tied up a boatload of money with that thing. But it's an interesting firearm. I really don't even know if he's making them anymore. Because I think when Brownells had that guy making the real early experimental ones, AR-10 and the early, that's what I like that one, the early ARs with the little thing, the lever underneath the handle type of arrangement. I guess they didn't sell very well, and then when they just started to phase out, and the guy that was doing this and having all that period handguards and all that other stuff manufactured, I guess they just kind of gave up because the price tag on them, and it was going back a few years, maybe like 5 years or so, the price tag on those were pretty hefty. Okay. And you're kind of tempted, but that's an awful lot of money. Okay. And then they started lowering the prices to liquidate them, like you see now. And they had a sale on it. I mean, I had it in a cart, but I just couldn't. It was too much for me. I just couldn't really afford it and be comfortable with it. You know, it would just have overextended me, and I didn't want to be in that position. You know, for my hobby accounts, still got to pay the light bill and that and the mortgage. But a subscriber that I knew, he went and bought one, bought one on sale. Okay, and all right, test post, it's there. And then he got back to me about a month or so later and said he took it out to shoot it and just had nothing but problems with it, and the thing didn't work. Granted, when you're paying over 1K for something and the friggin' thing don't work, of course, I don't know what this guy here, he's always fooling around. One of the guns don't like reloads for some reason. And what it is, I believe it's so tight that even when the brass, once it's fired in one gun, and especially when you're just picking up odd brass and you don't know what the hell gun has been fired from, even when you resize it with small base dies and that, it kind of springs back. And or something's just a little bit out of round. I mean, they fit in the gauges like I was showing. I had the gauge and all the ammo would drop into my gauges, and it works in several other firearms. It's just something about it. Either the extractor's a little stiff or something. It just jams the gun up. And it's weird because it don't close all the way, and you can pound on the forward assist all you want. That's not going to help you. You have to either disassemble the gun and then try to get it loose and pry it out of there. Okay. Jimmy Jones. Won't affect prices at all. Yeah, well, oh, with the war. Yeah, the war, that's got nothing to do with the market now. Most of it's commercial. See, like I said, I got lucky in that auction and got one mil surplus gun, and then it's kind of like when I stumble into these auctions and find an opportunity or luck out in my bidding where I can walk away with something, without paying a small fortune for it, is the only milsurp I'm getting. Other than it was the Star 30s, I always kind of wanted one. And when they popped up on several sites, all about the same, I grabbed one, and it's under 4. So, it ain't that terrible. That's kind of something I can just kind of pop up in that price range, you know, like the Star, it was right at 3. So I'm like, just won't go to the Legion for a week. I got it covered, you know. But I think what you're going to see is a lot of gun manufacturers, if things don't change, a lot of gun manufacturers are going to cut back on production, and you're going to see a lot less stuff coming out. I mean, there's companies that are always like the SHOT Show, they're always going to come out with something new. Doesn't mean they're going to sell. One good example, Century Arms, them Portuguese rifles. I bought one. The thing don't do anything with me. Of course, there's some other guy that wears a ski mask the whole time he does his videos that just went out going crazy with it. And 7.62 ain't cheap. So to spend 2/3 of what the item's value is in ammo, okay, and then he said, well, it failed. Of course, all right. I mean, I shot maybe 100 rounds out of mine. I ain't going all the way to 5. I mean, but I don't know. Some people say they're junk, but now they've gone. I thought I was getting a break when it was costing. I think it cost me about $8 with everything included. Because it's 7 something. They got them on. They're clearing them out now. It's 6 something. Okay, which I didn't have no problems with mine. Okay. I mean, yeah, and they said that whatever the other company was the one that did the receivers and mounted the barrels, and then they did the rest of the work. But that's one you should kind of grab if you're interested in a G3 clone. Okay. Yeah, no pistol grips. It makes the gun evil. The gun is predestined to do something bad if it has a pistol grip on it. But what are you going to do? Well, let's take a look at something here. Do 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 do. So yeah, okay, that answered that question. Technically, since 2019. Since then, that's when I kind of, for health reasons, had to quit working. Yeah, that's when I stopped. Things were going good. I was doing stuff part time on the side, but then things changed. Kind of got stuck. But now we'll see what the future holds for what's going on. So some whole stocks in New Jersey. Like I said, I'm going to see how interesting it gets here in another couple weeks. This Black Friday melee, or how sad it is, because with a lot of places, not just talking about sporting goods and things like that, a lot of places, that's where they make their year, is running sales. And I'm curious to how it's going to look this year and see what happens. Don't know, but it will be a thrill. All right. So anybody got anything interesting? We had one pistol carbine. Somebody's looking at VR80. Nothing else, huh? I guess nobody's finding any big deals on any type of milsurp. I know what's his name goes out there and he does his little shorts on going to the gun shows, and the last one he did was totally crazy. What he's seen there. Yeah, it depends. If you're talking milsurp, when he went, and showed the prices on us, and they were probably decent guns, but I mean, you know, it was even more than what it used to be, and I mean for common stuff, okay, Enfields and everything. Well, here's the problem with that, Peter. Right now is bad, like this, the Star Beat. Okay, I remember when the guys were auctioning them off, and when times were good, they went between 4 and 5. Okay, I put a bid in this auction and got it for 180. Granted, the fees were insane, and when it's all said and done, it come out, and with the transfer fee, come out to about 3. Okay, but still, I didn't think I'd win the bid, so that's why I kind of stopped there. Uh, the percentage they charged me was exorbitantly high. And the company had a lot of guns there, but that keeps you bidding low. Now, my thing is the way this auction company was, that this person placed that in the auction. And, when they were available, they were about, 4. So say the guy paid 4.5, 4.5, whatever. And now when he put it in an auction, if he just gets the hammer price without any percentage off of it, then he's going to get issued $180 for it, which, even if I wanted to liquidate it now, I have to ask at least 3.5. I mean, that's about a going rate. So trying to dump some stuff right now could be tricky. Okay. And depending on how you do it, private sales is one thing. You find somebody that wants it and is willing to give you some value for it, yeah, that's cool. Auctions, I don't know. We got another one. We got one here. Oscar 400. Yeah. Like I said, stuff ain't moving. And like I said, the local auctions were, pretty good. Channels keep saying pew pew foods good. No, like I said, it's stagnant. It's not coming down. And even for the 9, okay, it's plateauing. I'm not seeing. That's why I'm going to wait. I was thinking of getting some more of that steel case stuff that worked pretty good and it wasn't that expensive. And I don't reload it no more. I got about 5,000 empty 9mm cases in the garage that, it cost me more to get a primer, powder, and a bullet to load them than it would for me just to buy it. And I did do a run of the 7.65 Argentine. I did some 6.5 Grendel with that ridiculous reloader 15.5. And I found out I could reload a heavy bullet in the 5.56. So that may be my next project, is getting a 75 or 77 grain bullet loaded in 223 using that powder, because I ain't got no use for that powder. I bought it by mistake. But yeah, it's getting there. And cash is worth more. Well, and I suggest find a local auction house if that's the situation. And look around, okay, see what the deal is. Because I had this one auction company that runs on Gunbroker that he takes 20% off of my side. The buyer don't pay a premium. Now I don't know. And each company has different rules. try to find one that isn't charging the buyer a real high percentage, about 18% to 20, 21. Okay. Like this company, this 28%. Of course, I was bidding through an online site. So I think there's a 4% on there for the site. Okay. The online site, like proxy bid or whatever, they charge you a little more. Um, find somebody that, if you're going to get the hammer price, okay, with no fees, see what they, do research and see what they charge. If they're getting close to 28, 30%, stay away from them. Try to find one that has a lower percentage. You'll get more for your stuff. Because, like I said, this guy, if he paid like 4 bills, and he's only getting 180, could have done better. But yeah, there should be some where you live. There's a couple of them that are pretty close to you that should be right there around where you live. Some good size auction houses. Um, so I'd look into that. I'd start shopping around for a place. Mad Tech. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was talking about. I had a case of it. I actually bought. Told my friends about it, and they bought some. And I almost burned through. I think I got 100 or 150 rounds left out of that case of 1,000. And I ran it in everything, just about everything that carbine that I have a 9mm. That thing was finicky, picky, pain in the ass. Run that MagTech steel case through there without a hitch. And even the jawbone and just about all the pistols except the old stars. The old stars didn't like it, and I don't know if there was another one that had issues with it, but like 5, 6 other different handguns I had, even my Beretta 51 ate that stuff like nothing, you know. But yeah, that's a good deal. That's you if you get it from a place out in Pennsylvania, it's free shipping, no sales tax, probably the cheapest place. You look on Ammo Seek, you'll find it. But yep, the ammunition, it came down to a point about a year ago when it hit rock bottom. It's kind of got a little bit lower recently, but yeah, it's got a plateau where the ammo prices are not going down. Because I was looking for some other stuff like 6.8 Remington Special Purpose and 6.5 Grendel. Instead of reloading it, I was thinking of getting a couple hundred rounds of each. And granted, it's come close to a buck, but it used to be 1.5, close to 2 at one time. And even that's kind of backed off, but that's about the best you're going to do. Because if you load a center fire cartridge, the weight of the powder, cost of the bullet, and the primer, okay, even if you have the brass, it's just like when I did that 7.62, the Argentine round, just loading it. I had the brass, the once fired brass. It runs close to a buck, if not more, a little more, depending on what you have to pay. And unlike a lot of other people, I don't just, if you see something online or you see one of these ads and it's like this value, okay, well, I do count shipping and handling, sales tax, and all that other stuff. Because in the end, when I have it, in my hand like this, I have it in my hand. what the price is online is not what I actually paid. And some people, well, I never include sales tax and postage and this and that, 'cause that's just the cost of business. No. Okay. Bottom line is, okay, say they said this is $1 and I order it, but I got to pay $4 in shipping or something. So, now this is $5. All right. That's why you got to watch it. And like when you're ordering parts, like if ever I go to Gun Corp, I ask everybody around, do you need this? Do you need a screw? Do you need a sight? Because, you're ordering all these little tiny bits and pieces, and they're not too bad. If you ordered a bunch of it, then, they charge you the one shipping charge. But, it's like 10 spot. Okay, which, yes, shipping, because I do ship things. Just the cost of the postage alone. I don't care what you send. You send in a little envelope with a part in there, a little padded envelope. Minimum is 6, 7, or more, depending on the weight. If you got some weight to it, over an ounce or more, then it bumps it, to the next level. And yes, that is, that does have the cost, because it's always a toss up going to a local shop and buying something like primers or ordering it. It's always going to be lower someplace online. But then again, it comes into what do you get? If you get one carton, and you're already getting grabbed the C note, you got another 3.5 or something on top of that for shipping, hazmat, everything else. And like when you go to a local shop, say he has, a carton for 110, 115. It's cheaper to buy it there. You bought one of them things from them? Are you going to sell all that at the flea market or something? Or are you just getting a couple scorpions and just fire them in the air with your force reset trigger? That's that stuff out of Czechoslovakia, right? Or where did that come from? Let's look that one up. Do. Ammo. Check. Yep. All right. So what did they grab you? 167. Ooh. Let's do this. Seven. And so they got you over C note for getting it there. Oh, that's a whole crate. That's a lot of ammo. Oh. So what are you gonna do with this? See, I don't mind going a grand. I still have when I bought a grand of PPU, and actually some of my friends got those Beretta 81s, and I was, liquidating some on the side. I still got them, but wow, 4 grand. Yeah, well, every year they do. I mean, people go, well, we got this letter, it's a 10%, 15%. Every year that comes out. And this is this time of the year that they tell all the dealers, yeah, we're going to raise the prices. So that's nothing new. Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot. And Scorpion. I still haven't used up mine. That's another one, 32 auto. I was thinking of reloading that. I got a huge tub of empty brass that I've accumulated over the years. Yeah, New Jersey's pretty tight. Yeah, let me see what they got here. Okay, so 26 cents a round, which isn't terrible. Let me see. 5. Yeah, about 26 cents a round. May have to look into that. Have to pick up 500 or so, maybe a grand. Add it to the collection. So, do you think you'll shoot up or put a dent in that 4,000 rounds of ammo here soon, or can I have some videos? Yeah. Well, at least you got some to trade. You know. And that ammo's pretty good. Clip that. Clip that. Okay. Back to the chat. Yeah, that is a pretty good deal because that stuff got expensive during the plague times. Because that's about when me and my friend bought those 81s, the Beretta 81s. That's a nice gun. All right, so there you go. Let me see. Just out of curiosity. Boom. Okay, those are half box. They're 25 rounds a piece. Let's just look. Just out of curiosity. Do, do, do. Yeah, you did pretty good. you're looking at another dime or more for anything out there. Privies, 40 around. So yeah, that ain't a bad deal. Now you guys got me thinking I might have to go grab myself some. Because I remember when they brought it in, I looked at it. BZ70. Yeah, I got a stack of them too. You know, I have 4 or 5 of them. Generally, when I talk about them, I'll take them out and shoot them a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I don't shoot them that often. But yeah, $4,000. I guess you're covered. You got your bases covered. Yeah, I don't know. I know the laws. You gotta have if you send an antique, you have to send it to an FFL in Jersey, man. Of course, New York's just almost as bad. I know that place is worse than what we had going on. That's why I like living right where I am for now. It ain't that bad yet. All right, 32 ammo deals and all kinds of other stuff. Well, it's been over an hour. I got some things to do, but thank you guys for all stopping by and stay tuned. We got some retro AR stuff coming up, and you know, the Star B, I'll get that out, get some rounds through that, and maybe we'll talk about ammo. I mean, I'm going to see if the ammo, that's what I've been waiting for. See if they're going to have some kind of flash sale this next weekend for Black Friday. And I may get overextended there, but I'll keep you guys filled in on the 23rd. But until then, I'll see you guys all again next week. And thanks for stopping by, and have a nice rest of your day.